Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we lose.
Knicks family, what's popping? It's your boy. We here with my brother Tony Crow. Losers Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Celtics are in the Losers Lounge. The Boston Baked Beans in the Losers Lounge tonight. You dig what I'm saying? Tony, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Another playoff edition of the Losers Lounge. You know what I mean? I said we can't not take advantage of this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
got to. You know what I'm saying? How can we not do a Losers Lounge when we beat the Celtics? You know what I'm saying? When we beat the Boston Celtics. Game 2 is tomorrow. It was a crazy game last night. You know what I'm saying? I'm expecting it to be, I'm expecting the Knicks are focused. And I'm expecting them to remain focused and come out ready, sharp. You know what I'm saying? And ready to throw that energy out there on the floor to win game 2 because they know who the Celtics are. The Knicks ain't dumb. They know who the Celtics are. They know what happened during the regular season. And I think they understand an opportunity when it presents itself. And I'm hoping, I think they learned a lot during that Pistons series. And I think they have some killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? I think they're coming for the Celtics. I'm not predicting anything right now. I just think they're coming for the Celtics.
That's something you questioned in the first round.
Yeah.
You question that the killer instinct specifically.
You know what I'm saying?
And you think they gained it?
I think they learned. I think they learned how to execute it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get it done in game 5.
Yeah, the missed opportunity.
Right.
Will
yeah. And so now game 6, it's like, they were like, yo, we gotta take care of business. You know what I'm saying? And they knew Detroit is a team that kind of has that killer instinct. They just don't know they don't know what to do with it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Activate it.
Yeah, I think the Knicks figured some things out, so I think they're going to come in with that type of mindset. And, any Celtics fan that thinks, Boston is just going to run away with the game is fooling themselves, because I think the Knicks figured out how to play against them. I think they figured out how to be scrappy against the Celtics. You know what I mean? And this is not going to be easy for the Celtics. So, get it through your minds, Celtics fans. You know what I mean? Get it through your minds. But let's go ahead and get to a couple of these comments. Then after the comments, we're going to talk about, can the Knicks win game 2? Talk about that. So the first one, KP has to play. Jordan J said KP has to play or else it's going to be ugly like this all series. You know what? I agree with Jordan J. KP is a big part of what they do offensively because of the way that he can spread the floor. You know what I'm saying? With his shooting. You know what I mean? Now a guy like Mitch can't roam in the paint. You know what I'm saying? They already beat us on the boards. You take a big out, you know what I'm saying, and it beats us on the boards even more. You know what I mean? His pick and pop potential is dangerous. The pick and roll potential is also dangerous. You know what I mean? His ability to block shots, is makes them a tougher defensive team. He's definitely a pivotal part of their basketball team. You know what I mean? So yeah.
The only pushback, I think it will be ugly without him. But I will say I don't think it changes their confidence. He missed a large stretch of their run last year. I think he came back in the finals. I don't remember exactly what round he went out, but he missed at least a full round. but I think he missed part of another round as well. So I think they feel like, you know what I mean, they're more than capable
Right.
without him.
Right.
What were they? The loss last night was their fifth playoff loss between the two last year and this year. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I think no, I mean they're definitely going to be confident without him. You know what I'm saying? But with him, they're a better team.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? They're just, they're a way better team with him. They're going to be confident. It's no doubt about that. But with him, they're just a better basketball team with him. Because of what he's able to bring to them offensively. You know what I mean?
And defensively.
And defensively, right? And defensively. But with all that being said, KP, stay out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Get healthy.
it's funny too because my friend at work was talking about how he's worried about KP, and this was before the series started, right? He was talking about, oh, next round I'm scared of KP. I think we'll be all right with Tatum and Brown, whatever. And I'm like, he gonna miss some time. I swear I said that to him. So when I seen him at work today, that's the first thing I said. Well, I told you about KP. It's inevitable. It might not be against us, you know what I mean? But I was like, he gonna miss some time.
KP's gonna miss time. That's just that. You know what I mean? Call into the show, ladies and gentlemen. 516-362-5212. We want to know what you think about any of these comments that the Celtics fans have made.
Or if you're a Celtics fan, you want to comment.
Celtics fan. Yeah, if you're a Celtics fan, don't just stay in the chat. Don't be scared. We're nice people. Anthony Mason Ave said Boston played like shit from the second half and on. Okay. Whatever you're trying to say. Once we got to a 20-point lead, Tatum and Brown, especially jacking up threes, instead of going to the basket. As a Celtics fan, you should know that's their game. That's what the Celtics do. They shoot threes. They live by the three. They die by the three. You know what I'm saying? They're going to shoot threes. I wouldn't be surprised if they shoot another. Listen, that was their game plan coming in. I'm pretty positive. Figuring that the Knicks were not going to cover the three-point line well. Shoot as many threes as possible. Just take them out the game early. You know what I mean? I'm positive that was their game plan coming in. You know what I mean? Are you afraid tomorrow that they're going to be more prolific from the three-point line and we will not be able to handle it? Any concerns from you about that?
I do think they're going to shoot the ball better. I don't think they're going to shoot 63s. I think they're going to be a lot more conscious of the shots they take. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to turn down some threes tomorrow. I think they're going to turn down some. You know what I mean? So I think it may be 50, maybe mid 50, but I don't think it gets to 60. Even though they're, in their press conferences and the coach talk, everybody's standing on, hey, we missed a lot of open ones. He's saying maybe it was 5 to 10 that, which is crazy, right? That's how they're still gonna shoot a lot, because he's like, maybe there's 5 to 10 that we rushed or we could have got a better look on. That still will bring you down to 53 3-point attempts. So
right.
Yeah, they're still gonna jack them up, but I don't think it hits 60. I think they are a little bit more precautious in the ones they take and ones they don't.
Okay. And that's, if they are, which I think they really might be. I agree with you. That's them showing a little bit of fear, maybe. You know what I'm saying? If they start to be cautious about the type of threes they shoot instead of just letting it fly, now maybe they got a little trepidation. They're a little tentative. I don't even know. Who knows? Kevin says, Sim, the last Pistons fan only called in once. I wonder why. Exactly. Remember the dude? You remember he came in, Detroit basketball, and I had to bang it on him because he was cursing all over the place and wilding out. He didn't come back because
Hey, honestly, when I gave him his props, it was really for that part right there. You know what I mean? He could have kept that energy and kept it respectful.
Yeah. Great. Said, this is the Hood Knicks podcast? Was a family show, but not anymore? Oh, because I said sugar honey iced tea? I know I got
you let one go.
I got upset a couple of times and let a couple of choice words fly. It happens. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens. I get it. You know what I mean? It happens. BJJ said the absence of a big man costed us this game. Porzingis may have not played well these past couple games, but his presence alone ensures that we have space to shoot efficiently from the perimeter. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Decoy, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta respect it.
Yeah, I don't know how how serious his illness is or whatever it is, but I'm expecting to see KP back. It's my opinion.
I am too, but what I would do, don't let him hide. Don't let him hide on defense. You know what I mean? Test that stamina. Make him work.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Whatever you gotta do to get him in action and see if he got it in him. You know what I mean? Because if he could relax and just shoot threes and be a decoy and a threat that way, we're allowing him to benefit the team. I'm testing everything. Josh Hart, make him run. If he's trying to rest on you, make him pay.
I agree with you 100%. Donald Cannon said, Greg, you can't be pleased no matter what. He ain't lying. He's not lying. Greg just, what I'm saying? I wonder, like, this. Greg, do you have a girlfriend? Because she's probably, like, pissed off at you all the time. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Guaranteed.
We appreciate you, though.
No doubt. I definitely appreciate you, though. Definitely appreciate you. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please.
Moses from Queens. What's going on, fam?
Moses, what's happening with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
Nothing, man. It's crazy. When I was watching yesterday's game, I was like, yo, when Boston went up by 20, I was like, we ain't winning. I turned off my TV and went to sleep. And then next thing you know, like when I got up, I was like, okay, let me see what the score is like, just to see what the score is like. And I was like, wait a second, we won by 3? And I was like, damn, I didn't know they was gonna come back and win.
Damn.
But let me say this, like, I mean, we know that tomorrow's game 2, and I can't wait to see how we play in game 2. But the Knicks is not boo the fool, man. It's like I think they already know that Boston's gonna try to come back tomorrow with revenge. You understand? So we gotta really stay focused, like, and really, play the game hard. Like, go to the free throw line more, and True needs to get playing time. But last thing I want to say is this: do you think that, because me and my barber, we Knicks fans, everybody in the barber is Knicks fans. It's like if they would have kept the same team they had last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like with Hartenstein and Randall and them, would they have with a healthy Mitchell Robinson? Do you think they would have gave Boston a better fight and have a better season?
Okay. I don't know. The season is hard to say because of injuries and all that. You never know what's going to happen there. But I'll just say this. It's hard to predict because you don't know. That team had a chance to be really good. You don't know what they would be. The one thing I do think is that that team had better switchability against Boston with Randall and OG and Bridges and Dante. You know,
Remember, they didn't have Bridges last year,
right,
but I'm pretty sure they probably
Bridges would have been on that team this year because Bridges
if Hartenstein was still there.
Said Bridges still would have been on the team because the Knicks traded for Bridges.
Yeah, they still would have made that trade. I don't think they made that trade knowing they was trading for Cat. I think the Cat thing fell.
The Cat thing
fell in place right after.
Right.
No, what happened was they traded. They wasn't going to trade Randall if Hartenstein would have stayed. You know what I'm saying? But what happened is, you know, I feel like what they should have did was they should have gave Hartenstein, because OKC paid him $10 million more than the Knicks paid him. So I feel like if they should have just gave Hartenstein $90 million and
they
then kill OG and Anobi.
Yeah.
Huh?
They could not. They only could pay him $14 million. That was the max they could offer him.
Yeah.
They could not pay a dollar over that.
75.
So,
they done, and I'm talking about in total. They was gonna offer him $75 million.
that's because they could only offer him $14 million per year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, per year. Excuse me. Yeah.
So no matter, basically, if OKC would have offered him 15, maybe even 16, he might still be a Knick.
Right.
16 per
year. Right.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, I feel like why Jalen did not convince him to stay.
I mean,
because you're talking about $10 million over 4 years.
I mean, you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about generational money. So yeah, you know. But back to the question, I think that team with Mikal Bridges would have had better switchability against the Celtics. I think, you know, I mean, you know, this team obviously last night played very well defensively, but I think that team just would have been able. You just had more guys that can switch and more power off the bench. Because your starting five would have been Brunson, Bridges, OG, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson at this point. You know what I mean? And you know, the ability for OG, Bridges, and Randall to switch on the Celtics would have been greater. You know, now
I think the chemistry was better.
The chemistry was better. You know, this team is still figuring that out. You know what I mean? They're still figuring that out. But you know, but hey, we won last night with this team.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't. Yeah, I'm hoping that they go tomorrow and win tomorrow again.
I mean,
yeah. I don't. It's gonna be tough because I can tell the Celtics is gonna come back with revenge. You know, if KP, I don't know if KP is gonna be back. You know,
for sure they're trying to come back with revenge, but I think this team would be ready for him. We'll be ready for him.
Yeah, definitely. But last thing I'm gonna say, you know, what's crazy? Like, if New York win tomorrow again, and they go to the Garden, the Celtics go to the Garden down 2-0. Down 0-2 against us. I mean, bro, that'd be crazy.
We go up 2-0 tomorrow. You know, we riding high this series. I ain't gonna say we're gonna sweep them, but you know, I mean, 2-0, we winning the series. I don't want to say too much because anything can happen, injuries, all that kind of stuff. But we winning this joint. We go up 2-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, but that's definitely thanks for taking my call. You know, hopefully we can get a center this off season. Okay. What's that guy name in Washington? That center who looked like DJ Khaled a little bit.
I don't know his name, but I know you talk about. Can't think of his name.
Yeah. You think they're gonna be able to get him this off season?
I don't know. We'll see. You know who I'm gonna tell you the truth. Who I wouldn't mind getting this off season. Then I'll let you rock. I wouldn't mind the Knicks getting Ben Simmons this offseason. I think he would be perfect for this basketball team.
He's garbage.
Nah, he don't have to come in and score. You don't need him to come in and score. You need him to play defense. He can handle the basketball. He can facilitate. That's all you need him to do. He can defend. He can defend. He's 6'10".
I think he only can play with Josh Hart on the bench.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, he would.
But other than that, I've been on this sim.
He would come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Ben Simmons could come off the bench, or if you decided to start him, you know, now you got a really big starting five. But you know, that's for next year. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we got a series to do. Moses, I appreciate your call, man. Be peaceful.
Yeah, take care.
No doubt. One. You know what I mean? That's for next year. We got a lot of season left to get through before we even think about, you know, those things next year. You know what I'm saying? A lot of season to get left. You know, a lot of season because you know, Rennie Max said, I couldn't think of a better way to reignite the motivation of a defending champ. Good game, Knicks. Thank you. Okay. I think with that, I understand what he's saying. I get that. You know, let me ask you, Rennie Max, and I know Rennie Max isn't in the chat, or you're probably not in the chat, but why do the defending champs need to be reignited? They're the defending champs. They shouldn't need to be reignited. Like, that should be a given. If they need to be reignited, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem.
Why
if they need to be reignited.
Why didn't the Orlando series do that to you?
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's whatever. Let them be, you know, if that's what you got to do, that's a problem, and you're not going to win a championship. How about that? JJ said, trying to make himself feel better. That's the truth. Right? Walter White said, that's losing mentality. That's the truth, too. Ain't no way they trying to make themselves feel. I mean, ain't no way, you know, they didn't lose motivation. They just lost. Kevin says, Sim, I heard somebody saying that the Celtics let us win the game to make the series interesting. How dumb is that? How stupid is that? You had to play with your food, see what happens. How stupid is that? That's dumb.
They decided right when that's why KP left. They was like, you know what?
Right.
Sit this one out, KP. We'll tell them you're ill.
Right. When they were up 20, they decided, okay, well, hey, let's let them come back. We're going to make this interesting, ratings, all of that kind of stuff. That's bull. That's dumb. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's, you know, that's Celtics fans for you. I heard Colin Cowherd. I seen him on, seen it on Twitter, you know, and he's, you know, saying whatever he's saying about the Celtics and about the Knicks. You know, and basically saying, all right, they missed 45 threes. You know, this happens to the Celtics every once in a while. Don't get too happy, Knicks fans, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, you know, people are still going to throw their shots at the Knicks no matter what. It's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? It's life as a Knicks fan. I take it. You know what I'm saying? I take it. Vlad B. Cheeks. Oh, Vlad B. Cheeks. Vlad TV. Vlad. That's what I'm assuming it means. Vlad B. Cheeks. Right. Derek White took 16 3-pointers tonight. 16. Vlad. They shoot threes. Your team shoots threes. I'm assuming you've been watching them all season long. Don't be surprised.
Wasn't he 50%?
Not exactly sure. He might have been. You know, I don't understand why so many Celtics fans are surprised at how many threes they took last night. I mean, 60 is a lot. I get it, but that's who they are. That's what they do.
They said 85% of their shots in the second half was threes. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right. Chris Gotti said all the media is doing is giving Celtics excuses. Don't give any credit to the Knicks. Exactly. And you know what's even worse? The Knicks didn't really play well. We didn't really play well. We shot worse than we normally shoot from a regular field goal percentage. We shot,
Shot the three. Good.
we shot the three well.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? But we only shot like 41, 42% or something like that from the field. You know what I mean? We got out rebounded. We were down by 20. We had foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we played well. It's not like we played the game of our life. It's not like we gave them our best shot. To be honest with you, we didn't. We didn't give them our best shot.
Nope.
Because if we gave them our best
drive.
shot, what'd you say?
Yeah, I was looking at Nick Yak's comment. McBride did play well, and that was one difference that you know. What I mean, we haven't had this playoffs that he showed up. But again, McCall didn't have a good shooting game. Cat was in foul trouble and didn't have a good
Foul trouble
performance. It was OG and Brunson, and then spots here and there collectively for the rest of the team.
Right.
Great spots, you know what I mean? But this is not our best punch.
Not by a long shot. If we gave them our best punch, we're talking about, we shot 50% from the field. We shot 40% from the 3-point line. We made 85% of our free throws. We won the rebounding battle. We had 30 assists. You know what I'm saying? We scored 130 points. That might be our best shot. We scored, what was 106?
Yeah.
Scored 106 points. We had less than 20 assists. 12 turnovers, I think. I mean, that's on par with the season's average.
At our best, our starting lineup will give us 115 points.
Yeah. Come on. You know what I'm saying? We did not play well. And we won the basketball game. You know what I mean? Celtics fans, get with it. Don't. I know you're nervous and you're scared and all that good stuff, but let's not act like the Knicks played the best basketball that they could play. You know what I mean? Look at this. Greg said now Curry is done for the playoffs. He went out with a hamstring. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors are up by double digits, but he went out with a hamstring. That's tough.
That is.
That's tough. That's tough. I'm up in the air with that series. You know what I'm saying? Because Randall and DiVincenzo are on the Timberwolves. I'm kind of up in the air. You know what I'm saying? I like Curry, but I'm kind of rooting for Randall and DiVincenzo.
I'm definitely rooting for them.
Yeah.
I like Curry too, but number one, he's been there, done that, right?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like his first rodeo.
Yeah.
So as far as they can go, I'm supporting them until we match up with us.
Yeah. Mitch was great. Nick Yak said Mitch was great, especially after Hacker Mitch. He was our center during the comeback. He closed out on Tatum, missed threes with seconds left. Missed 3 with seconds left. Yeah, Mitch, you know what I'm saying? Mitch stayed strong throughout that.
Yes, he did.
And they had him mic'd up, and he was telling people, hey, we've been here before, this, that, this, and that, and this, and that. You know what I mean? He stayed strong throughout that. You got to give Mitch his props for that.
Yeah, that was the play that they said, oh, you had Mitchell Robinson. Tatum had Mitchell Robinson on. You're supposed to drive to the basket.
Yeah. Yeah. Cobra Smarf. Officially, time to say goodbye to Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis after tonight. No way Brad Stevens lives with tonight's result, no matter what happens the rest of the playoffs. Wow.
Yeah, that's overkill, but I do want to ask you about the talks that's been going on all year long about the Celtics having to make moves because of their payroll, because of their luxury tax.
Right.
Now, granted, I don't think if they're going to do that, it's not going to be a 1-for-1 move. You know what I mean? It's going to be something where they're trying to shed some salary while getting some pieces. You know what I mean? What route do you think they go? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised with them moving KP just because of the inavailability.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's
Right.
great when he's there. They may try to, you know, hold on to Luke Cornett, and you know, add some maybe a stronger piece around that.
Luke
But
Cornett was making me mad last night. I ain't gonna front. I'm like, oh, yo, why is Luke Cornett blocking OG's dunk? Why is he getting put back dunks? You know,
bro, I always liked him on the Knicks, but I do have I have a tendency of where we're not a good team, where we weren't a good team, always finding like somebody that you root for, but I always liked him here.
yeah. Nah, I mean, you know, he did work while he was here. Give it to him.
And you could tell he was still improving. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like
Yeah, he definitely did. You know, I can give him that. Call into the show, ladies and gentlemen, 516-362-5212. You don't got that many, you don't have that many minutes left.
that was a big block too.
Yeah, that was a big block because I thought OG was throwing that one down. So I thought he was throwing it down. Yeah, call in, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have that much time left. We're gonna head up for the night shortly. So, you know, give us a call. We'll know what you're thinking about this. And here you go. JDS 777. Calm down. It's one game.
Here's the thing.
You already knew that was coming.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna give him some grace because there wasn't many Knicks fans in the chat. He might have just been talking to his own people. You know what I mean? He might have been talking to his brethren. But I don't think a lot of them was even crazy in what they were saying. You know what I mean? Like I got all the good comments. You know what I mean? It wasn't too many people. It was a couple people saying, you know, this is Missoula's fault and it's the coaching. But other than that, man, they were saying it's a one-off.
Okay. Yeah. Who's this? George Jones. George, I'm assuming you're a Knicks fan. Said it's one game. Everybody calm down. I mean, we should be happy. We should be happy. Here's the reason why I think it's okay for the Knicks to be happy. For Knicks fans to be happy. You know what I mean? We've been waiting. Like, this is the matchup we've been waiting for in the playoffs. This is still a team that needs to get over milestones, right? Milestones. And this was a milestone, I think. You know, beat the Celtics in a tough game in the playoffs. This is a milestone to build your confidence. You know what I mean? You know, yep, you're right. It's just one game. You know, a lot of series left. A whole lot of series left. A lot of series left because you know the Celtics not going away. But it's a milestone for the Knicks. We're still a team building through milestones. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is a milestone, and you celebrate your milestones. Next year, we beat them game one in the playoffs, regardless of what happens this year, right? Regardless. We win it all, we get eliminated, whatever. Next year, we beat them game one in the second round. It's like, okay, finish it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Think of, you know, you're happy, but I think right now, you know what I'm saying, we're still in the stage with this team where we celebrate milestones.
We do, but I think that was yesterday. You know what I mean? I think they say every game, no matter the opponent. That was, you know what I mean? We celebrate today. Tomorrow is back to work. So right. I think the Knicks are focused. They come in even more focused.
I think they're definitely focused.
They believe, like we've been saying, they didn't play their best, and so it's like, yeah, we stole one. Whether it's because we ain't play our best, whether it's because they shot too many threes, whatever the reason was, we got one. Let's play better and get the next one.
Yeah. George Jones. No one's a stranger to the fan base. I've been here for 40 years. I feel you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know. Have I been here for 40? Yeah, I've probably been here about 40 years too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, ready, you know, we're ready for some good things to happen.
39 for me.
Curtis
as
D.
a Knicks fan.
As a Knicks fan. Yeah, I'm about. I might be at 39. 86 is when I really became a Knicks fan. So I was 10. So yeah, about 39. Curtis D. Young. Whichever way you look at it, the Knicks proved that they can compete with the Celtics. The playoffs are a different animal than the regular season. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? They proved that they can compete. I do want to ask this though, from anybody, Tony, the chat. The Knicks have to play so hard to stay competitive with the Celtics. Are you worried about burnout towards the end of this series?
Um,
Because they got to play hard, because I know there's people that disagree with me. I still don't believe the Knicks have as much talent. Now, if KP's not playing, it evens the talent out a little bit, right? I still don't think we have the same type of talent they have. So we've got to play with more grit, right? More intensity, more heart, more of that. So do you think the Knicks burn out?
I don't, because
Or
number
are
one,
you afraid of it?
I don't, only because I think this is a part of the identity that has to mature,
Okay.
right? I think they, like you were saying, like you think they found it in that Detroit series. I think we had it all year. You know what I mean? Like it was questioned all year, but then we'll have a game where we show it. You know what I mean? But it wasn't in the blood like last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the DNA like last year. Like so, but now I think they are developing it, and I think they have to. The fact that they need it, the fact that they needed it in Detroit. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're gonna continue to push and strive for that. You know what I mean? Like that's like that missing piece of the fabric that
And
of this team this year.
yeah, and I think some people are gonna throw tomatoes at me. I dig it. I get it. I'm cool with it. What these guys playing the type of minutes that they play during the regular season prepares them to be able to play these type of minutes in the playoffs. It's not a shock to your system. You expect it. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing 30 minutes per game and now come playoff time and you're playing 41, 42, now, it's a shock to your system. Now you're tired and you're burning out. So I do think playing this way, playing these type of minutes throughout the season helps to prevent some of that burnout now in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And some people are gonna be like, you just saying this, that, you're just trying to cover your butt and blah, 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 blah. But I think that's true. It prepares you, it's not a shock to your system now. You know what I mean? Donald Cannon says, Sim, as a coach, what are you telling your team, especially since you and others don't think we have enough talent to compete with Boston? What are you telling your bench/players? I'm not saying we don't have enough talent to compete. I think we have enough talent to compete. I'm just saying I think they have more talent than we do.
The edge, it has to be one of those things that push us over the top. The same, like it's basically the same thing with Detroit. Like what Detroit needed to stay with us, to compete with us, to make that series such a difficult series for us. They needed to outwork us. They needed to out-tough us. But the talent gap between us and Detroit and us and Boston, I don't think is the same.
Right. See, I feel like talent's not the only thing that wins. Right? You know what I mean? You have talent, but you got to have other things along with the talent. And I'm not saying Boston doesn't have those other things. They do. You know what I'm saying? So if you have talent, you got to have work ethic. You know what I'm saying? You got to have all those type of things, and you got to have some grit and so on. If you lack some talent, if you're not as talented as the other team, then you got to find an edge somewhere, right? And I think that edge comes with winning the loose ball battle, working hard to try to win every possession, because you don't have the same luxury to make mistakes as the other team. That's all I'm saying. I'm not, every time I say I think they have more talent than us, people say, oh, da 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 da. All I'm saying is I think they have more talent, so we got to find another edge to win. I don't think talent wins everything. How many players have we seen come into the league that are super duper talented and don't make it because they don't have the work ethic or they don't have the fundamental skill set? They're just talented. You know what I mean? So I think they're more talented than us. I think they have more talented scorers, right? So we got to find an edge somewhere. And I think finding that edge is having an edge. It's playing aggressive. It's playing with that tenacity. You know what I mean? But when you play like that, it takes a little bit more energy. That's the reason why people they try to find as much talent as possible, because now it's easier to score. It's easier to do some of the things that you want to do when you have that level of talent, without exerting as much energy. If you don't have that level of talent, then you got to exert more energy to win the basketball game. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. And you can win that way. You can win a championship that way, I think. You know what I'm saying? You still got to have a level of talent to win it. You know what I'm saying? And the Knicks the gap isn't that far, but I think we need the edge. We need the aggressiveness to make up what we don't have. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, where we lack compared to the Celtics is the chemistry issue. You know what I'm saying? They have more chemistry than we do because they've been together longer. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make the game dirty so that it messes up their chemistry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we can't. That's something we can't catch up on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Not in this series, we can't catch up on that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make the game dirty so that we mess up their chemistry a little bit and bring them down a level, because, we just and that's what the Pistons did with us. That's why all those games were so close, because they made the game a little bit more dirty. You know what I mean?
That's why I think the Precious thing helped so much. You know what I mean? Even though he wasn't super impactful, I think his presence changed them what they had to do scheme wise, schematically. You know what I mean? And now they had to make a quick adjustment.
Right. So yeah. That's my soliloquy about it all. So many people, keep getting mad at me because I say I don't think we're as talented. That's all I'm saying with it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, that's all I'm saying with it.
And experience too. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, experience in the playoffs as a group. Prezi the Ball said all we need is Cat to score more. We don't need him going on for 50, but 20 plus. I agree. Adding to the job he's been doing. We have Captain Clutch, Heart of the City, and Playoff McCall. You know what I mean? And let's not forget about OG. Let's not forget about OG.
Another thing about the Celtics, they didn't face much adversity on their path to a championship. So like the adversity that they have to pull from is from previous year. You know what I mean? Like they got to pull from making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, not winning, making it to the final. They got to pull from that. I don't think their championship path. I don't think they had much pushback, much resistance. You know what I mean? So this is some adversity that they haven't really faced.
Right.
You know what I mean? Losing game one at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They haven't faced that. So now they gotta they gotta fight through that and figure that out.
Right. And right now, Golden State is up by almost 20 over Minnesota. They're in Minnesota. So if this game continues the way it is without Steph Curry, if this game continues the way it is, all 4 away teams would have won game 1.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
Yeah. That's crazy. Walter White said, now is when you learn how to win. You get to practice. and repeat every game. Make adjustments. I agree 100%. You know what I'm saying? 100%. This is where you learn how to do it. You learn how to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, Tony, I know you got an super early morning. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, I got an early morning, but not as early as yours. Not as early as yours. You know what I mean? I got a conference downstairs. I know people that watch this, people that are new to the show or maybe just see me this year is probably like, yo, why is this dude always in a new location? Like, is he a nomad or something? Like, what's going on?
Hey,
it's part of the work that I do, man.
at least you keep the shows coming, man. Right?
Try. I do them from gas stations. I do them from other people's couches. You know what I'm saying? I doing them from hotel rooms, as you can see. Everywhere. Doing shows. You know what I mean? Always on the move, man. Always on the move. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate your time. Definitely. I don't know if I'll be able to do a game preview. Depends on the stuff I got going on downstairs. Depends on how that goes. You know what I mean? But we'll definitely be doing a post-game show.
And hopefully another Losers Lounge.
And hopefully another Losers Lounge. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Mostly my automobile. Trust me, my automobile is probably mad at me, but you know what I'm saying? Gotta keep it on the move. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up out of here. We appreciate your time. Be peaceful. And can't wait for tomorrow, man. Can't wait for tomorrow. We got to get this. I mean, if we can come back to Madison Square up 2-0. It's crazy. We up out of here, y'all.
Hey, we win game 2. Y'all gotta change the name. Right. Madison Square Garden 2.
You know what I'm saying? Madison Square Garden 2. There you go. What's a small version of a garden?
A garden bed.
Something. I don't know. Folks, be out of here. Peace.
This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But